Hi, in this video, we are going to go through the couple of functions which are going to use as a array iterator, and it is going to iterate through the arrays. So let's take an example of var number, and I'll mention 100, 200, 300. I'm declaring an array, and one function is called for each. So how to use this one is number dot for each. On each and every component we can perform an operation. So what operation do we want to perform? We want to console dot log, and we are going to pass the item num. Let's array. So we loop through each and every element. Likewise, we have another function called map, which can be used to iterate each and every element. So for that, we use map. Let's take an example. I want to create an array var scare. I'm going to scare each and every number, and it is going to be for my number dot map. I'm num. I'm going to return num scare, and then I'm going to print console.log scare. So what it does, each and every element will get scared. 100 will be passed in this function in a map. It will get multiplied by 100. It becomes a 10,000. Likewise, 200 becomes a 40,000, and 300 becomes a 90,000. So let's validate. We have 10,000, 40,000, and 90,000. So it multiplied. Likewise, we have something called filter. Var filter number dot filter num. Return, which is divisible by 150. So I'll say num 150 equal to 0. Then I want to console.log filter. So let's execute. It gave an error because I've kept hash at the end. So only one number among all that array was divisible by 150. So it filtered that one and passed to that, created new array. Another is reduce. So for sum, I can say number dot reduce num return result. This is a final result which will be returned. Result plus num, and what will be the initial value of the result will be 0. So console dot log sum. Now if I execute, I got the sum of all these three. Now we have another iterable function called sum. So in this, it will return like if any one of these element is greater than 200. So it will return sum. So let's do an example. Var test sum number dot sum num return num which are greater than 50. So it will iterate through each and every element, and it will say like, is it any of them greater than 50 or not. So I'm just going to return test sum. In here, all of them are above 50. Let's take an example. I'll take 250. Still yes, because one element which is 300, it is still above 250. Now I'll change it to 2500 and iterate. It becomes false because none of the object is greater than 2500. So this is one example of iterable function sum. Now there's another function called every. So in every, it checks each and every element. So it's just like sum, but ensures each and every element should be greater than 50. Test every. So it returns true because everyone is above 50. Now if I kept 250, two of the elements are below 250, one is above 250. So it should return false because one of the element is above 350, and it's not every element is not above 250. So it returns false. But in case of the sum, if it is 250, one element was above 250, so it says any one of them element is above 250, then return true. Every says all of the elements in the array should be above 250, and whatever the return value. So this is true because 300 is greater than 250 and any one of the element. So yeah, this is sum, this is every. Now we have another function called find. For find, var search will say number dot find num turn is equal to 300. So console.log search. So it returns the search value 300. If it says 200, which is not present, oh sorry, 20, which is not present, then it is undefined because it couldn't able to search in that particular array. Now there's a, just like find, there's a find index function. So for find index, it's just like this. Instead of returning the value, it will return the index value, and we'll say find index instead of search index. We'll specify, and in here we'll say find search index. Now we'll call at index 1, this 200 value is located. If we specify 300, then it is located at index number 3. So this is an example how we can use the some of the inbuilt functions which are iterable, and it checks each and every element, and it is massively used in large programming as a shorthand. Thank you.